Hey, welcome back to yoga class with me, Mercedes. Today's class is yoga to decrease insomnia. So, if you are someone that suffers from not getting as much sleep as you would like or need, then this is going to be a really great class for you to incorporate into your practice so that you can get a more restful night's sleep. We will start off in a reclined position. Now, you can have props to support you if you want to or not. I recommend having blocks. If you don't have blocks, then you can take a rolled up blanket or maybe even a pillow. So our first posture in this sequence is going to be our fish pose. I'll demonstrate without the prop, and then with the prop, you can try both in your body and then see which one works best for you. So to come into our fish pose, we'll extend the legs in front and we'll bring the feet together so the heels are to the mat. From here, we'll roll back. Now connecting your back, your shoulders, and your head. Arms by your sides. Now tuck your right hand under your right glute, left hand under your left glute. As you inhale, rotate onto the crown of your head, lift your chest, coming onto the forearms, lift off of the upper arms. Heart is open. Now we are going to hold here for 10 rounds of breath. Stay here if this feels okay for you. Otherwise, if you do not want to hold your body up, then you can use a block underneath your back. So you want to position the block from your mid to upper back. Avoid placing the block on your low back or your neck. Now, if you're using the prop and you feel discomfort at your neck when you bring your head back, you can take a second block to support your head. Heart is open, chest is open. We can bring the arms out to the sides to also open up the shoulders as well. Now find your breath. Noticing each inhalation and each exhalation. Allow yourself to settle into this posture, letting tension go from the upper back space. With the heart open, practicing cultivating love and compassion with our heart energy center, Anahata. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath. One more round. Exhale, let go. Now, if your arms are out to the sides, bring them back onto the mat. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, press your hands to the mat to lift up, and now we'll remove the props out of the way. Just set them out to the side. And then we'll come down onto our back. So we're coming into a neutral spine. Grounding down. And then from here, we'll prepare to come into our next posture, which is bridge pose. The knees bend. Align your heels with your glutes. Now for our bridge pose, on an inhale breath, we'll press the feet to the mat, lift the hips, bring your hands to meet, interlace your fingers, press your palms together, and then roll the shoulders underneath your back. Now keep those hips lifted. It might be helpful to press your fists down to the mat. Another option here is that you can take your hands underneath your sacrum. You can also position a block here if you prefer. If your hands are under your sacrum, you might play around with lifting a leg up, stretching the hamstring, tapping that toe down, and then seeing what happens when you lift on the other side. Feeling into the legs.
Maybe you practice lifting both feet if you're feeling adventurous. Or for more stability, you can stay with your feet down to the mat. Just let yourself explore in this bridge pose. Let's take another round of breath here, holding, lifting the hips. And carefully coming out, releasing the hands, rolling the shoulders out. Lower from the top of the spine, bone by bone, all the way down to the tailbone. Now rolling the bridge as your tailbone meets the mat. Inhale, lift the hips, press them up. Exhale, lower from the top of the spine, bone by bone, connecting down to the tailbone. And we're going to take one more moving bridge. Inhale, press the hips up. Exhale, roll down, bone by bone. Once the tailbone meets the mat, pause, hold here for a full round of breath. Exhale, open the mouth, let go. Now lift your feet from the mat, take your hands underneath your knees. Lift your tailbone, gently rock up and down the spine, a few times, all the way until you come onto your seat. Now, if the rolling is not comfortable, you can simply roll over. We're now going to come into a prone position, onto our bellies. As you come onto your belly, come back to noticing your breath. As you inhale, feel the belly pressing to the mat. As you exhale, feel the softening, the release, the surrender to this shape. Gentle back bending here. And now looking at your hands, take your hands underneath your shoulders. Forehead to the mat. On your next inhale, lift your head, gaze forward, lift your chest. Press the tops of the feet to the mat. Exhale, lower down. And again, inhale, lift the head, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down. Feel the activation in the back space. Inhale, lift the head, lift the chest, gaze forward. Extension for the spine. Exhale, lower down. Continue to move with the breath. Waking up the spine. Releasing any stagnation. Movement is following the breath. If you'd like to go deeper, you can slide your hands more towards the ribs, and then as you inhale, lift the chest, peel the belly off the mat, extend the arms, maybe lift the legs, but continue to press the tops of the feet to the mat. Now coming into upward facing dog. If this is too much for you, then continue with Cobra, our first option. Whatever you choose, we'll take a couple more rounds. Last one. Exhale, lower down. Now bend your right knee, lift your right foot. Take your right hand to your foot, make the connection. Now if you can't connect your hand to your foot, don't worry. You can grab onto a strap or a belt or a scarf, whatever it is that helps you connect your hand to your foot. Now with the right limbs connected, the left arm reaches forward. Now as you inhale, lift your legs, lift your left arm, gaze forward. This is our half bow. Hold and breathe here. We've got 3 more rounds of breath. Last one, you've got this. Exhale, gently release the limbs. Release the foot, re-extend, right arm comes forward, forehead to the mat. Inhale, lift the head, prepare to come into the other side. Bend the left knee, lift the left foot. Take the left hand to connect to the foot. And then lift the legs, lift the right arm, gaze forward, hold and breathe. One more round of breath. Exhale, release the limbs down, release the foot. Take your arms by your sides, forehead to the mat. As you bring your forehead to the mat, feel into the back. Let the spine neutralize. Maybe you notice sensation where you are activating from the back bending. And now we'll come into a counter stretch. Now coming into flexion for the back. Bring your hands under your shoulders to set up. Lift your hips, extend your arms. Now take your hips back. We're coming into child's pose. As you come into child's pose, you can open your knees wide for hip opening, arms extended forward. This feels really good for the back. With the knees open apart, we can let the heart melt down to the mat, feeling into the shoulders. If your shoulders need a break, then you've got the option to bring your knees together, bring your feet together, and then take your arms by your sides, forehead to the mat. Flexion for the spine, nice stretch for the back, releasing the low back. Just breathe. Surrender to this shape. Know that child's pose is an awesome posture to help us sleep better because it calms the nervous system. It allows us to downregulate, helps us to reduce anxiety and stress. So we're going to take just a couple more breaths here, but remember this shape. This is one that you could practice for a longer amount of time, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, to help assist you in getting better sleep, decreasing insomnia. Preparing to come out. As you inhale, lift your head. Continue to lift the crown of the head up. Now gazing forward, axial extension, crown of the head is rising up. Now we are going to come into a deeper stretch for the hips. The hips are an area of the body where we hold on to a lot of stuff, a lot of stress, tension, emotion. So we're going to go deeper to get some of this stuff out so we can let it go so that we can sleep better. So I recommend turning so that you can use the length of your mat. Now the reason why is because we're going to open the knees wide. So go ahead and take your hands down to the mat, off the mat to the ground, so that you can bring your lower legs onto the mat. So we open the knees as wide as we can. Then we look back. If your heels are coming in, position your ankles in line with your knees. And then your toes in line with your ankles, all right? So this is our frog pose. Now, once you've got your legs set up, go ahead and come on to your forearms, positioning your elbows underneath your shoulders. Now, as you take this posture, you might already feel sensation in the hips. This might be deep enough for you. If you want to go deeper, press your hips back. Notice how that really fires things up. If it's too much, you can always shift your hips forward. So option to stay still in the pose, or you can take micro movements. Inhale, slightly bringing the hips forward. Exhale, slightly pressing the hips back. You decide.
little micro movements or stillness. Your hips will let you know as you try each option. Just a few more rounds of breath. We'll have some happy hips after this. Now, with your forearms on the ground, go ahead and press palms to the ground one at a time, straightening the arms. Slowly and carefully coming out, slide one knee towards the midline and the same side foot. Then opposite knee, opposite foot. Now rotate coming back onto the mat, hands towards the top of the mat. We're in our tabletop position. From here, we're going to lower back down to our prone, coming onto our belly, taking a prone spinal twist. Starting with the right side, bend the right knee, take it out to the right. Now look to make sure your knee is in line with your hip, and then open your ankle out in line with your knee. Look back to your hands. With the right knee bent, you're going to take the left hand behind the right elbow. Reach your hand for the back of your knee. Come onto the left side of your head. Inhale, reach your fingers up towards the sky. And then exhale, open the arm out. This twist feels amazing. You'll also be able to stretch your shoulder in this spinal twist. Take inventory of how your body's feeling in this shape. And feel gratitude for this time to serve yourself, knowing that you're setting yourself up to feel better, to sleep better. Inhale, lift the fingers straight up. Exhale, take the right hand down to the mat. Now, release your hand from your knee. Use your energy to push the mat away. Extend your right leg back onto the mat. Gaze forward. Take a full round of breath here, coming back to center. And then we'll do that on the other side. So we'll bend that left knee, look over to the left, make sure knee is in line with the hip, and then open the ankle so the ankle is in line with the knee. Now from here, looking at your right hand, you're going to pick it up, slide it underneath the left elbow, reach for the back of the knee, come onto the right side of the head. As you inhale, reach the left fingers up, and then exhale, open out. Spinal twist, shoulder opener. Maybe you got a nice little crack and pop like I did in my spine. That always makes me really happy. Letting stagnant energy release and go. All we have to do here is feel and breathe. Now on our next inhale, we'll reach the left fingers right back up. Exhale, take the left hand down to the mat. Release your hand from your knee. Use your energy to lift your torso, and at the same time, straighten your left leg onto the mat. Bring the forearms to the mat. And just bring your gaze to the mat. Take a full round of breath. Starting to transition to tabletop, slide those hands under the shoulders, straighten the arms, lift the hips. Now, as you position yourself in tabletop, spread the fingers wide. Create space between the fingers. Align your wrist under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Now here we can take a few rounds of our cat-cow breath. As you inhale, let the belly soften towards the mat. Exhale, lift the back, push the mat away.
Inhale, soften the belly. Exhale, lift the back. Take one more round. Come back to a neutral spine. Now we're coming into lizard pose. As we set up for lizard pose, look at your hands. Bring your hands towards each other so that the thumbs meet. This is going to create space outside of the hands so that we can bring the foot up, working one side at a time. Now lift your left knee, step your left foot forward outside of your left hand. As you press your hips forward, if your shoulders are going past your wrist, move the hands up, keeping the alignment of the shoulders above the wrist. And you might need to shimmy your left foot forward to get the knee tracking above the ankle. So this is a great option to stay like this. Or you can also take the option of coming onto the forearms, aligning your elbows in line with the arch of your left foot. Now, if you really want to try this and you're almost there but not quite, you can take a block underneath your forearms to bring the floor up to you. So try that as an option if you need. You might even take different options. You might curl your toes and lift off of your back knee, maybe pressing the heel back, maybe drawing little circles with your heel and then in the opposite direction. You might roll to the pinky edge of the left foot, splaying the knee out for external rotation for your hip. Or you might hug the knee in towards your shoulder. An option that I really like to take is to rock my hips from side to side. As I do this, I can feel into the side body and the hips. Wherever you are, take one more full round of breath in your lizard pose. Find your way to center, pressing palms to the mat. And then gently slide the left foot back. Bring the left knee in line with the right. And then step your right foot forward. Outside of the hand, press your hips forward. Now, this side might feel different, so you might need to set up in a different way. Take your time. Get that alignment, knee above the ankle, shoulders above the wrist. Feel into this side. It's very common to have one side tighter than the other, so you might need a different variation on this side. You might keep your hands to the mat, or you might lower forearms down. Remember, if the forearms are almost there but not quite, you can use to lift up the arms. You can curl the back toes coming off the back knee, maybe pressing the heel back, taking little circles in one direction and then opposite direction. You might roll to the pinky edge of the right foot, splaying the knee out, getting that external rotation for the right hip. Or you might hug the knee in towards the shoulder. Or maybe you take the rocks from side to side. Depending on how much you exaggerate this movement, you may feel into the left side of the body, right hip, as you move from side to side. Last round of breath. Find center. If your knee is lifted, go ahead and bring it down. If you're on your forearms, toes, press palms to the mat. And then from here, carefully slide the right foot back. Bring the right knee in line with the left. Open your hands to shoulder distance. Keep the fingers spread wide. Now curl the toes, lift the hips. Transition now to downward facing dog. And as you come into your downward facing dog, think about sending your chest towards your thighs, taking pressure out of the shoulders. If your hamstrings are tight and it doesn't feel good to straighten your legs, then you can keep a bend in your knees. If you really want to work with opening the hamstrings, inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, press heels to the mat. Continue to move in this way, allowing your movement to follow your breath. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Feel the strength of the arms as you do this. Now, the next time you start to straighten your legs, slowly walk your feet towards your hands, making your way to the top of the mat. Once your feet get there, bring your palms to your shins, take a half lift, and as you exhale, fold. So as you let your arms dangle in this fold, check in on the hamstrings. If they're tight, bend your knees. That's going to be more comfortable and safer for you. If it's accessible for you to straighten your legs without pain, go ahead and do that. Now rock the head from side to side, and then forward and back, releasing the head and the neck. You can take your hands to opposite elbows, framing your head with your arms, getting more traction for the spine, and feeling a stretch at the lats. You might inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, straighten the legs, just like we did in down dog. Stretching the back of the body, decompressing the spine. If you're grabbing onto your elbows, go ahead and release. Let the arms dangle. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold. Now looking at your feet, bring your big toes together. Leave a little space at your heels. On your next inhale, take another half lift. Exhale, fold. Now looking at your feet, lift your right foot, slide your right ankle behind your left. You might need to shimmy the hands over to the left a little bit to get centered. And then exhale, fold. Try to keep the legs straight. Think about bringing your upper body towards your lower body. Feel a really great stretch in the legs going up into the hips. Deep, deep stretch. We're in a gentle inversion. Find your breath. On your next inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Feel. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Let's take one more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Now uncross. Take the right foot back over beside the left foot. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Looking down to your feet, cross the left ankle behind the right. Try to keep the legs straight. As you exhale, fold. Get centered with your hands. Gently folding, feeling in to the body. Thinking about folding the upper body towards the lower body. Bringing awareness to the sensation you're feeling. Allowing yourself time to get comfortable in your body. Now let's move with our breath. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Stretching even deeper as we inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold. Couple more rounds. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Preparing to come out. As you fold, look at your feet. Take the left foot back over beside the right. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Now bend the knees. Slowly roll up if you don't have both of your blocks beside you. If you do, you can stay in the fold. So we want both of the blocks to take them underneath the hands. So we're in a supported half lift now. Take your time to get there. Bring your blocks towards the top of the mat. See if you can straighten the legs. Notice the opening that's happened so far. And now from here, step your left toes back. See if you can bring your entire left foot down. Bring the blocks back so that you can position the wrist under the shoulders. Now keeping both legs straight, stay here if you feel enough of a stretch, or bend the elbows to fold a little deeper. Hands can stay on the blocks, or you can bring your fingertips or your palms down to the mat if you want to go for a deeper stretch. Now, think about sending the right hip back, left hip forward. This is a micro movement. Feel and breathe. Preparing to come out. Gently bring your hands to find the blocks. Now use your energy to step your left foot in line with your right. And as you exhale, come back into your fold. Notice the difference between the right leg and the left leg. Next inhale, half lift, find the blocks. Step the right foot back. Tap the toes down. Bring the entire foot down. Reposition the blocks so the wrists are under the shoulders. Take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, bend the elbows, hinge forward. Think about bringing your upper body towards your left leg. Remember, hands can stay on the blocks. You can even rotate the blocks to a different height, or fingertips or palms can come down to the mat. Deeper stretch for the hamstring and the back. Now think about taking that little micro movement, shifting that left hip back, right hip forward, legs stay straight. Hold and breathe. Letting go with each exhalation, taking a sigh of relief. So much gratitude for this amazing body that lets you do so many things. Even when we need to modify, even when we need to use props, we're able to move, and we can use this movement as medicine in our practice. Preparing to slowly, carefully, and gently come out. As you inhale, lift your head. If your palms are to the mat, come onto fingertips. And then find those blocks. Take that half lift. And as you exhale, step the right foot in line with the left. Let the blocks go. Come into your fold. Feel into the back. Feel into the legs. Notice the left leg. Notice the right leg. Notice both legs. This is our last forward fold in this sequence. So if you want to go a little deeper, you can take your hands to your ankles and then pull your torso towards your legs. Or you can simply let your arms dangle. Soften the knees. And slowly start to roll up to a standing position, Tadasana. As you find standing, bring your arms by your sides. A little micro bend in the knees. Pull the belly button towards the spine. Relax the shoulders away from the ears and just feel the foundation at your feet. Now we're going to come into a few standing options. Leave a block close by if you would like as we come into triangle pose after warrior two. So starting with our warrior two, you can bring your hands to your hips, take your feet towards the top of the mat. Now sending weight into the left foot, pick up your right foot, step it back and rotate it to 90 degrees. Now as you do this, you want a bend at the left knee and you want the knee tracking above the ankle. When you look back to your right foot, you want the pinky edge of the foot in line with the back of the mat. Then we fly the arms, gaze to your front middle finger. This is our warrior two. Feel the strength in your legs. Now transitioning from warrior two to triangle, press your left foot into the mat and then reach your fingers forward. Now you'll rotate your hands. As you do this, if you want a block for support, you can bring it underneath your bottom hand. Top fingers are reaching up. Now think about sending the hip and the shoulder back, deepening the stretch, stacking the arms, and breathing in this triangle. Continue to reach and find length. Imagining that your body is up against a wall behind you. Really pressing the back. Opening the heart, gazing up to the ceiling. Now, if you're gazing up and this hurts your neck, you can rotate to look down to the mat instead. Preparing to transition, soften the left knee, find a bend. Inhale, sweep the arms up, come back to warrior two, and then lower your back arm. Inhale, reach your fingers up, straighten the leg, reversing our triangle, reaching now, left fingers up. Feel the stretch in the left side body. Hold and breathe. Soften the left knee, bring the arms to warrior two. Lower the hand to grab your block. If you used it on this side, we're going to take it to the other side. Straighten the left foot, rotate the toes. So now all 10 toes are facing the same direction. Now we'll rotate the right toes to the back of the mat, bend the knee. So now we're facing opposite direction. You can go ahead and place your block right to the inside of your ankle if you used it for your triangle. And before we get to triangle, we'll set up for our warrior two. So making sure right knee is tracking above the right ankle, looking back, making sure the pinky side of the left foot is in line with the top of the mat. And now we fly the arms. And as we reach the fingers in opposite directions, we gaze to the front middle finger. So with the right foot forward, we're gazing to the right middle finger, feeling the strength in our warrior two posture. Preparing to transition to triangle. Press the right foot to the mat, straighten the leg, rotate the right fingers forward, reaching, and then taking the hand down to the block, reaching the top fingers up. So if you're collapsing in the chest, open the heart. Remember, you can gaze up or you can look down to your mat if that's better for your neck. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Hold and breathe. Continue to find that length by reaching the fingers up to the sky. And as we transition out, we're going to do this with care. So we're going to soften that right knee, lift the arms, use your energy to do this, taking it to warrior two as a transition, then pressing into the right foot, straightening the leg, lower the left hand down, reach the right fingers up. So now we're reversing our triangle, reaching up, breathing, feeling strong and stable, feeling gratitude for releasing congestion from our body, loosening up so we can relax. Transition to warrior two. Bring your hands down to your hips. Straighten both legs. Rotate the toes in the same direction. And then start to heel toe your feet together. Shaking out the shoulders. Releasing any tension from the body. All right, that's our sequence for today. I hope that you feel refreshed, and I hope that the sequence left your body feeling a little more tired and ready for rest after all the stretching and self-care. Thank you so much for participating in class today. I'll see you next time.